All right. Um, so all right, here we go. So this is my coding project. I did a world sustainability game. It's basically just a quiz game that takes the students through 2 to 3 questions about basic things that like recycling. Well, you'll see the questions here, but first I started off by defining two structs here. One struct to hold the player information, another struct to hold the questions. I made some comments out here. I'll just read them verbatim. First, we need to define a struct to hold player information. We also need to divide a struct to hold the question information as well. It's important to note for the option one right here, I made it a 2D array because each option, there's 3 options, and then each one of those options has a question that holds up to 200 characters. Then I have a question character array up top. And then I also have an integer for the correct answer because the questions are labeled, well, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, but it's actually 1, 2, 3. That's what the user will see. Okay, moving on. Then down here, I just initialize my functions here. Um, the first function is a pointer questions pointing to the question struct. It also takes a parameter for number of questions. Play game, players pointer that points to the player struct. It takes same thing has the question pointer as well, and takes 2 integer arguments for numbers of players and numbers of questions. Save score function takes the player struct and has a player's pointer pointing to that struct, and also takes integer numbers as a parameter as well. All right, getting on to the main function. Um, so first we initialize the number of players, and then we also initialize the number of questions as well. Just some user like print statements, just welcome to the UN game. Just kind of describing for the player that ends with the most points, their world has been successfully sustained. The other player, their world did not win. So first we collect the num players variable by the user. Then we allocate memory for the players and take num players, multiply that by the size of a single player. This will be appended to the player struct. Um, or not appended, sorry. It'll allocate the specific amount of memory for each singular player. Then we go on to the question memory allocation down here. It allocates memory for an array of questions, like for the struct question. And then it takes the number of questions and multiplies that by the question array. So what's the size of that question? And then it multiplies that by the number of questions that there are. Make sure I didn't miss anything in my uh comments. Yeah. So next we initialize the first underscore question function right here, giving it the parameters that we defined up top, integer, and then pointer. Then we do a simple for loop here, just to collect the players' names, and then we also initialize the player's score as 0 for each specific player. That's why it's in the for loop. Then we also initialize the play game and save scores. We had to do this after we got the players' names because the information is needed for these 2 functions. And then we have to free the memory as well for players and questions. Very important so you don't have memory leak. So getting on to the first function. So here we have to, I manually entered in the questions. Obviously, we use str copy. You can see that where this 2D array is implemented in here. You can see the 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. And then next question will be question one. Next question will be question two. So that's where that 2D array that we define in the struct comes into play here. It's also good to note that it is going to the question struct defined in the parameters right here and right here. This is going to the option because we go question.option. This is going to the question. I think those are two things to important to note. And then we also make a simple if loop just to make sure that each question is being displayed. Going on to the next question, void play game takes a player pointer, integer, number of players, question pointer, and number of questions. So what this function is doing is getting each player's name. Um, it iterates through each question as well. Sorry, let me move my screen here. How do I move this? There we go. Okay, where was I? It iterates through each question, and then it also prints out each question option. Then have to display the correct answer. They answer like you have to define the answer variable which you collect from the user. And then we say if the answer you have to do -1 because the user is going to either do 1, 2, or 3. You have to do -1 since the questions in the computer are in an array as 0, 1, 2. Then if the player guesses correct, that player's I will their player score specifically will get incremented by 1. If not, the display will the correct answer was it'll display the correct answer. Just seeing if I forgot anything here. Um, Also good to know the J+1 is just to display to the user that it's not like question 0, 1, 2, it's question 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think that's about it. The loop will stop after the number of questions have been answered. Yeah. So going on to the final function, which is the save scores function. This function, sorry, this function saves the scores of each player. It takes a player's pointer and the integer number of players. First, we open the file, define that file as define it as file f open. We open it in the write function so we can append, add new stuff to it. And then we do a for loop to iterate through each player. Excuse me. We print each player's score and their name as well. And then at the end, we close the file. And that is the end of my game. Here, I will now run it for you guys. Sorry. Let's just do quick compile here, just make sure nothing's wrong. And we can go ahead and run this. Okay. How many players are playing? Let's say 2. My name is Ayunde. Next player can be John. So the first question is displayed. What is recycling? Reusing materials, it's 1. And then question 2, what can you do to help achieve clean water and sanitation for all? Waste, I have to change that. Waste water by taking long baths, yada, yada, yada. Let's do 1. It'll do wrong. The correct answer was use water-saving fixtures and avoid polluting water sources. Question 3, what is one way to promote good health and well-being? 2. That is correct. It is John's turn. Question 1, what is recycling? We'll just go ahead and spam through these. Let's do 1 for each one. And the correct answer was boom. And then if you go here, we'll do a quick ls. The scores .txt file is right there. Let's open this up real quick. And it displays here player Yende score 2, player John score 1. So I already played it once. Um, so yeah, or not once, sorry. I played it another time, but that wasn't saved here. Just a new file. And yeah, that is the end of my game. Uh, sorry, I'm on Zoom. I have to figure out how to stop the. Boom. So, so how do I save this?